For the past 7 years, I have served as Vice President under a true Nigerian patriot, a servant of the nation in war and peace, and a man of integrity, President Muhammadu Buhari. We have, together, worked through some of the most difficult times in the history of our nation, but we have remained focused on securing the country, on providing infrastructure, and growing our economy. As stipulated by the Nigerian Constitution, our tenure will end next year. In this period of 7 years, I have served the government in several capacities, and I have, at the direction of Mr. President, represented our country in sensitive, high-level international engagements. I've been to practically all local governments in Nigeria. I've been in markets, in factories, in schools, and farms. I've been in agricultural, mining, and oil-producing communities, in the Delta, in Kebbi, in Enugu, in Borno, in Rivers, in Plateau.
All right, because of our time, that was the voice of Nigeria's number 2 citizen, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, trying to put together his scorecard, what I would like to call his scorecard, on Monday while he was declaring for his intention to run for president. And this is getting more interesting. 2023 is around the corner, and a lot of people are beginning to, heighten their political permutations. The race in Nigeria stopped short. It's getting more intense, and the dynamics are becoming interesting by the day, with permutations heightening as the suspense is also getting more brutal, especially in the All Progressives Congress, which happens to be the political party at the center at the moment in Nigeria. So today we will talk about the emergence of Vice President Yemi Osinbajo as one of the aspirants running for president in Nigeria ahead of 2023 election. There are a lot of people, political actors, state actors and non-state actors, who were taken aback on Monday. Some were thrown off balance, to say the least. Some people were talking about his loyalty. Others talked about his competence, and a lot of issues actually were raised after the declaration of vice president. Remember that there are other aspirants in the APC jostling for the ticket of the party ahead of 2023 to run for president, including the national leader of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, and not limited to him anyways. But he's one of the biggest aspirants right about now in the APC. And since Bola Tinubu declared to run for president, there have been speculations here and there that the vice president might run as well, with people believing that he would not, have the loins, so to speak, to come out against his regarded or supposed principle in the political space. And apart from the official principle that we all know anyways, that's President Muhammadu Buhari. And a lot of people believe that, okay, if this person is actually man enough, that's talking about the vice president, he should, forget about all sentiments and go after his ambition. This is a divided conversation. It's quite controversial. There are lots of theories that has been postulated ever since Monday when he declared his intention to run for president. Today, we will be discussing some of the dynamics in the All Progressives Congress ahead of the election. And let me quickly remind you that we would also open the port for you to call in and tell us what you feel about these developments in Nigeria's political space. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on another edition of Public Square. My name is Olabisi Olani Oluwasegun, and I have my studio guest here already, Barrister Femi Omoshuwa. Thank you for coming.
Good morning, Nigerians.
I also have Mr. Johnson Alabi, a member of the All Progressives Congress. Yeah, well, for the purpose of this show, is a Mr. as long as a journalist is concerned. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, and thank you, listeners at home.
Okay, so Mr. Femi Moshiwa, a lot of people believe that Osinbajo's declaration to run for president was, to say the least, a total slap on the national leader of the All Progressives Congress, who happened to be a supposed political godfather, like a lot of people believe. That's the popular opinion. What would be your first reaction to the VP's declaration on Monday to start with?
Yeah, the declaration of the VP, I want to say, is one of those high expectations from many politicians, especially the politicians who knows what politics is all about. It's not this type of politics that people do cut and paste politics. Talking about people who are into the business of politicking. I wouldn't have been comfortable if Tinubu just declared and it's only him. He said he prepared for the worst, prepared for disappointment, prepared for this, prepared for that. And that is one side of it. I want to believe there is a reason why Osinbajo is declaring. And the only area where I will be uncomfortable is if the synergy, the affinity, the relationship that both of them have enjoyed over time, where both of them have testified on it on many fora. I want to believe if the only area where I will be uncomfortable is if they are not understanding each other, if they are not on same page. What it portends is if they are not on same page, Osinbajo at the end of the day, if he's declaring a loan as a loan declarant for the office of the President Commander-in-Chief of Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, with his political status and pedigree, it may be seen, it may just be seen as Ole Tobeba Kakakioba Bolo de Fefon. Because politics is a game of number. You can't just say you want to declare because you find yourself as Vice President of Nigeria. No. That we are together, we're born by same father, same mother, we become friends. It's not by mistake. It is a journey that we have to nurture, we have to build. And it is the end product.
You're beginning to dwell more on matters
that's what I'm saying.
That come with his declaration.
Yes.
The question is, what was your first reaction?
It was never a surprise to me.
Okay.
I expected it. In fact, it will make, because there are many people that we don't even know that might want to declare or that might want to be doing something funny. But the only area where I will be uncomfortable is if
the relationship is strained.
The relationship is strained.
Okay, Mr. Johnson Alabi, you're also a member of the All Progressives Congress, and we've been hearing before Monday that the president might come out to declare to run for president, and eventually he did. Do you think that makes him a disloyal politician, especially as we have Asiwaju also in the race, who happens to be his political godfather?
Well, my answer will be emphatically no. His coming out would never have meant disloyalty. And if he had not come out if he had not declared as he did, I would be thinking, it would be a surprise that he never did.
Okay.
Why? Because as a vice president for the last 7 years, this man has performed well.
As vice president?
As vice president. And I've been totally...
In isolation?
Not in isolation. He has been totally loyal to his boss.
Okay.
And he has worked in unity with his boss, and there had never been rancor. And if we must seek somebody who is to take over from him, the vice president will be in the very best position to take over from his boss, so that there will be continuity in some of the programs that are on ground. I heard people say they are going to continue in security, they are going to continue. No. The program of the government are being in such a way, to build a house is always a very difficult task. But pulling down a building may not take, may not take too much time. Just demolish it, and that will be all. This party have been constructing and building this building. It won't just come up on a day. The whole job will not be done once. You see the effect of this government, the positive effect of this government that has not been seen now, right now, will be seen if there is continuity in the change.
I don't quite understand what you're saying. It's been 8 years running since the Buhari presidency was instituted.
Okay.
Are you saying for straight 8 years, Nigerians do not deserve to see the result of this present administration? Because a lot of Nigerians are groaning. The economy is not in good shape. Security is at its lowest, to say the least. And that brings the question of what achievement exactly are you talking about?
Yes, there are various achievements depending on where you are viewing from. Like Yoruba adage will say, you know, Eshin ota eni ki ga loju eni. Why? There are a lot of achievements of this government, but because the result, the positive result, have not been seen immediately.
After 8 years.
Yes, because a government had run for about 16 years, and we know how things got degenerated to the level we have found ourselves.
Is it even? I'm sorry to cut in, but Mr. Moshua, do you quite agree with what he's saying, or do you think? Because I see it as you're just making this statement as a good party man. A lot of Nigerians wouldn't agree with that, with your submission.
Yes, okay.
Maybe in a way to straighten it now and lay it bare. I will say what he's trying to say is that we cannot just say this party, this political party, you know how we say the truth, has not achieved anything. It is quite unfortunate that it was when this government took over that the price of crude oil went down. Good luck had it very, very smoothly. And it was about when this government was about to take over that banditry and what have you came in. It's not as if Yoruba sorry pe obon lagun iru ara eni oja mo. Not as if this government is not performing at all. I will say it. After all, we are Nigerians. I wouldn't behave like the parasite in the body of the dog that says wherever the dog is being taken to, it should be taken there. But forgetting that wherever the dog is taken to, there goes the parasite as well. So I'm a member of Nigeria. But what he's trying to say is that we can't just say this government has not done quite a lot.
Has totally failed.
This government has not totally failed.
Okay.
This government has tried. It's not as if it was a deliberate thing. But maybe I have said it many times, on this on this program, that we have problem of policy formulators and people who operate the policy. There are times some people will come with wonderful policy, but people who are going to operate it, they will now. There are many things that are happening in this country that even President Buhari does not know. To now link it to the question you asked, engineer, about the performance of President Yemi Osinbajo, we have to give it to him. The little time he had opportunity to intervene, he has put Nigeria on the right record. In fact, do you know that after this man acted and he sacked the man who invaded the National Assembly, many responsibilities were taken away from him. And where you are being gagged, you have to be careful. I will not say Professor Yemi Osinbajo has failed totally, but there are still some other things that can be done as vice president. What is the gap between the president and the vice president? You are next to the president. So I wouldn't say.
Okay, now, taking a cue from what you just said, a lot of Nigerians right now, feeling the pulse of a lot of Nigerians, they believe that the president, the vice president, or anybody in his cabinet, for that matter, does not deserve to be given, the chance to rule this country. Do you also share in that sentiment?
I don't share that. Because a malnutritious child is not fed back to his normal stature in a day. we have, in fact, the insurgency issue is a universal phenomenon. These people that came to Nigeria, you know, the Tuareg from Libya, they barely finished their trouble over there, and they were looking for where to come to. I don't know the people that brought them to Nigeria. Some people are saying some people brought them, but I don't know. But I only say the one that I know, which every one of us know. I want to believe the way things are in Nigeria now, Nigerians should give APC an opportunity, particularly a competent and experienced, and not just because I am opportune to be in power corridor of power. No, when they say as event unfolds, experience becomes self-defense. I can't just conduct this studio now because I'm not a journalist. You know the pros and cons. I can only talk here on invitation. So if anybody wants to conduct this program, they will look for a veteran. So we need a veteran. We have tried this. We have tried mediocre.
Before I ask you, yes, how Nigerians, because we've had a lot of repetition over the years. Yeah. Events continue. Now the narrative has not changed for a long time. Yeah. Now the question that we might want to ask is, how do we measure competence at this point?
The narrative has changed. Did it not change?
Before I come to that question, do you share in the sentiment that nobody in Buhari's caucus, in the Buhari presidency, should even vie?
Presidency or APC? Is that what you are saying?
Not APC as a party. Within the cabinet, the ones who are in charge of running the economy of this country at the moment, none of them is competent enough to run for the number one shot.
No, I don't agree. Nor do I share such a view. And my reason is not far-fetched from the fact that even the people in the opposition that are coming out have been part of the previous government that we are talking about that have failed before APC took over. And now that APC took over and having all these men trying to salvage the remains of what was left behind, I don't believe they all have totally failed. Something in particular I was discussing with somebody earlier this morning, that there was a time the president had traveled and Professor Yemi Osinbajo had about a month or two to operate as the acting president, and we saw how the dynamics of economic activities that happened within that period, and how he was able to survey the free fall of naira that was already at that time at about 550, and how he was able to manage it and pushed out a lot of forex to curb the free fall. And so you can't totally say that everybody in the government of Buhari are failed. Now it is best that as the President Buhari is going out, that we have somebody, and I tell you that by the time this continuity will be in place, then the activities and the programs of the government will be fully implemented, and then we can begin to feel the effects of all the policies that have been initiated for the last 7 years.
According to you?
Yes. If when people view from the outside, it is only what you know you talk about, but you need to have an in-depth knowledge of what is happening inside that government. My brother mentioned something, and it was just very brief, that during the eras of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, the price of crude oil was so high that we were supposed to have had a lot of reserve on ground, and by now, it would have been like we were saving for the rainy days. But unfortunately, those money were squandered, and after squandering that money, we have now the price of crude oil has gone down, and just this government had to manage and do so many things.
Are you also one of those who believe that the only way Nigeria could generate revenue is through oil?
No, I am not. Because
so what's your argument?
This government has really diversified from issue of crude oil. We have really diversified, because if not, by today,
on paper or in the real sense?
In the real sense, by today, no state would have been paying salaries again if this government had not, divested from issue of crude oil into some other thing. If you see the revenue generation, if you see the revenue generation of Nigeria today as compared to about 7 years ago, you will marvel. You will know that we are doing a lot of things from revenue generation.
The major campaign point for President Muhammadu Buhari in the days of change was diversification from oil.
Yes.
And it was looking to leverage agriculture.
Yes.
Over the last 7 years, do you really think, without having to, we do not have to mince words here, do you think that Nigeria has seen true diversification from oil to agriculture?
Of course, yes. Why? Because in the last few years, you discover that Nigeria was not exporting rice. But today, we are. And the quantity with which we are, exporting today, we can, we can say authoritatively that we have divested from oil into agriculture. And not only that, there are some other areas that the government are divested into that the ordinary people on the street will not just know. And the coordination of all these economic activities have been done by Professor Yemi Osinbajo up till late. My brother did mention, if you are gagged, you discover that we can't say completely that there are no saboteurs against this government that are running inside of this government. We cannot completely write that off. There are saboteurs who feel that if things begin to work the way it ought to work, then things, the free flow of cash they have been enjoying probably for some time, they may not enjoy it again. So there are those that have been against Professor Yemi Osinbajo. They have been against him and against his economic activities, knowing fully well that he will liberate this nation. But if given the opportunity as is coming out now, to be at the helms of affair, directing the whole thing by himself, I want to tell you, as of today, 60 to 70% of the activities of this government is not known to the president. Why? Because the president once told us he was operating for 8 hours a day. It's not easy to work for 8 hours. When President Obasanjo was in power, he was working around the clock 24 hours. So we need such a president who is agile. We need such a president who is, all over himself doing, working for this nation. And I think that is what we need at the moment.
Okay, I said earlier that we would open the port for Nigerians to also contribute and air their opinions on this particular issue. The numbers to call 0816-251-9991, 0816-251-9991, and 0908-177-8793. You can as well go ahead to drop your comments on our Facebook Live. We're there right now. You can drop your comments and we'll try to read them all out. Okay, so we have a few comments on Facebook already. Ajayi Temitope Michael says, not again. Why towing the blame game path yet again? APC is and its blame game rhetorics. Anyway, like APC, like PDP. Okay. Chief Alo Phillips from Isharon says, my simple reaction is that Nigerians are not fools. For how long should we be waiting for the promised change harped seriously by the outgoing federal government? The outgoing federal government, okay, let's see if we have someone on the line before we take other reactions on this table. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Paul.
What's your name?
My name is Paul.
Paul, where are you calling from, Paul?
I'm calling from Akure.
From Akure, we can barely hear you.
Yeah, some of the...
Paul, we can barely hear you. Probably you'd have to call us again, but for now. Okay, I can't hear anything from here. We have talked about whether or not the vice president was disloyal to Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, and unanimously on this table, at least, you think that was nothing close to disloyalty. It was just going after his ambition politically. They say someone even said that loyalty has an expiry date. I don't know if that applies to politics as well.
I don't think loyalty has its expiry date. What I think is disturbing us these days is simply because we don't know how to love deeply. And when we don't love deeply, we cannot concede for ourselves. Okay, we cannot concede.
Okay, we have someone. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, what's your name?
Yeah, my name is Ayo.
Ayo.
Yeah, my contribution is this.
Good to have you join us. Please go ahead and make your contribution.
Hello?
We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, my contribution is this. It is no longer doubt that what the VP is doing is nothing but deceit. Now let me tell you one thing. What the VP is doing to Asiwaju today, Akintola did it 50 years ago to Awolowo. I want to know what ended it. The issue is about to repeat itself in Nigeria. Let me tell you, politics is a game of numbers. There's no way Osinbajo can win primary against Tinubu unless we are declaring ourselves. The man will pay. That's my contribution. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. I heard the last part, even though I couldn't really pick your words, but I know you said that's your contribution. Thank you very much for being a part of the program. We will take our other reactions as well. To know what Nigerians feel about, the political development in Nigeria at the moment, especially as Nigeria prepares for the general election in 2023. Okay, you were going to say something.
As I was saying before now, I don't think loyalty has expiry date. And what are we talking when we say loyalty? Loyalty is not just about being yesmatic and dogmatic. If Osinbajo has been yesmatic to Tinubu, he wouldn't have achieved the best while serving under him. And we don't just fall from heaven. We are bound to, assist ourselves one way or the other. It's a synergy thing. It's a symbiotic thing. But
when people say that the vice president has been gagged, his wings were clipped under this Buhari presidency, what assurance do we have that the same people who, because as we all know, in Nigeria, politics, we tend to recycle political leaders in Nigeria. Yeah. What assurance do we have that the same set of cabals that are surrounding the president at the moment would not surround the vice president?
That is even exactly what I want to say. There is no way. There is no way. There is no way Tinubu can contest for or can hold this ticket and succeed in isolation. I can't treat. I'm talking about Osinbajo now. There is no way, even if Osinbajo is given the ticket today, that is going to run in isolation and succeed. No way. It's not. When we're talking about loyalty, loyalty does not have expiry date. It is about love, deep love. I'm your master today. I may not be your master tomorrow. Another person will be master again. But if there is love, the smallest can be the leader. That's what Jesus Christ did. But the issue here is that I will talk about the relationship that these people have enjoyed in the past. I am seeing it beyond this contest. That is just what I'm trying to say. I'm saying this, it is about APC, and it is about APC from the top to the bottom. It is not just about, these people are being clinched against each other. How will Osinbajo that was nominated, by his so-called godfather, how does he think by the time he gets the ticket he will succeed? But one thing I was just thinking, like what I said at the beginning, is that I want to believe it's about politicking. I don't know. We have seen situations where somebody will want to say, "Oh, I want to contest."
There
when
could
you
be some
contest,
sort of hot trading behind the scenes.
Yes, somebody can just at the 11th hour.
Okay, so
So
we have
something like that might be in the offing.
Okay, who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Yes. So we have Barrister Tolu Babaleye with us this morning. Hello, good morning, sir.
People of Odo State. I say good morning to my friends, Egine Alabi and Barrister Moshua.
Okay, good to have you join us. So I'm sure you've been following the discussion. I suppose you've been following the discussion.
Yes, I listened from the beginning.
Okay, thank you. So what would be your reaction to this development of the Vice President coming out to declare his intention to run for president against his supposed political godfather, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, who has always reiterated that this is his lifelong ambition?
In sharp contrast to the gentleman there, especially Barrister Alabi, what the Vice President...
You even mentioned...
Yes, I mean, especially Egine Alabi, I listened to what they said. What the Vice President did is a very big disappointment. I know he has the constitutional right to contest, but does he... let us ask ourselves, where is his morality, with all due respect? Can he face his principal and look up to his face and do this? Why has he not gathered people? Why did he do it on video? If he has the mind and the animals were ready to do it, why on video? Why can't he rent a hall, call people and do it? That is to tell you that his conscience is pricking him and telling him that what he did is wrong. There is a Yoruba adage. Somebody say, there are some things that we ordinarily we may be saying it is politics that are not good. They have repercussions. Like this one now, everybody knows the relationship between the Vice President and Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. And the president, the Bola Tinubu has said it to whoever cares to listen, that to rule Nigeria, he has been planning for it for up to 25 years. And the Vice President knows this. What the people who are just tricked the Vice President into this way wants to do is like what one of the callers said, that this is a repeat of Akintola saga in Southwest. What they want to do is to make sure that they divide the votes in Southwest and make sure that Bola Tinubu or Osinbajo did not emerge. That is the plan of the political enemies of Southwest. But unfortunately, we have somebody who is ready to dance the macabre dance in Vice President of Nigeria. I disagree also with Barrister Moshua, who has been saying, Alabi says so, or Moshua also says though, that there will be continuity. Who says in Tinubu because president there will be no continuity? Is it not the same APC? Is it not the same manifesto of the party? Why must he be vice president? Why? This is the question. The vice president has been there for 7 years. What has he brought to the table? What is it? And he even said that he wants to continue with the legacy of the president. Is it legacy of insecurity? Legacy of unemployment? Legacy of a free fall of naira to dollar? Or what is the legacy? Honestly, I'm highly disappointed in the vice president. And I know Nigerians will decide. In fact, the APC people will decide who flag the flag. The APC primary will separate boys from men. And I'm very sure of that one.
Okay.
I disagree with Omoshua, who is saying somebody is energetic, this and that.
I'm not saying.
Is the presidency of Nigeria, is it about a dance game or football game? What is the job of a president?
No,
is it not to assemble talented Nigerians to work with him? Is it because the president Buhari has not got it right? Didn't know the people to appoint? Tinubu is a destiny helper. He knows where to get the materials. And the job of Nigeria president is to approve, disapprove, keep in view, or put away. There's no job there. So the vice president has... No, I'm sorry to say this. The vice president, He's not bringing anything that is new to the table. He has been part of this thing. Let us have a change of hand. Let there be a fresh blood coming to that presidency.
If you say,
president of Nigeria,
if you say,
Respond to him.
if you're claiming that Nigeria deserves a fresh blood, a fresh hand,
Yes.
are you saying that Asiwaju Bola Tinubu fits into that description?
Of course, yes. Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is a meticulous planner. He doesn't just do anything. Look at his statistics. Look at the way Lagos is running. Lagos is on autopilot. Even if you bring a dummy as the governor of Lagos, he will perform based on the legacy and the foundation that has been laid down to by Asiwaju. Somebody who has been planning to be president of Nigeria for 25 years must have had his blueprint. And somebody who just said that because he has visited some local governments, because he has been vice president for 7 years, because he has been this, has been that, because of that, they should give him the mandate. Nigeria is bigger than that. We need somebody who can meticulously plan. Nigeria is a country of over 200 million people. We have talented people. Look at the way Obasanjo brought to Kojo Iweala, brought to Kosilesi, the other woman. Bring the Ribadu, bring El Rufai to the table. Look at the way Nigeria moved. Tinubu one talent that has the third eye to recognize a talent, to recognize somebody who will be fit and proper to handle an assignment. And that's why you have people like Fashola today. You have people like Adegbeshola today. You even have the vice president whom Tinubu nominated.
What does this portend for the All Progressives Congress? Because the primary election is in a month's time. I mean, less than a month, I suppose. On the 30th of May, the presidential primary election will be held. What does this declaration portend for the APC?
There is an internal mechanism of resolving all these issues. We are members of the same party. Whoever emerges will become our candidate. At the end of the day, all of us are just expressing our sentiment because of our interest. Which is about self-interest. We have to know this. Okay. But at the end of the day, there will be primary election. If the primary election is conducted,
your party has been happy on consensus arrangement before now. Do you see that happening?
If you look at section 412, there cannot be any consensus arrangement anywhere. Because, and that is if you look at what INEC said about 6 days ago, INEC warned the political parties that they must respect section 412 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. That gives room for 3 options: direct, indirect, and consensus. And if you look at the criteria for consensus, you will see that it is virtually impossible for all the candidates, all the aspirants must sign to say we agree to the person that is the consensus candidate.
But that played out. Remember, Mr. Obaleye, the consensus arrangement played out in your last national convention, and nothing happened.
Yes, of course, because the people agreed, and you even saw the acrimony. The people refused to do, consensus. There were elections. Not everything went on consensus. Some people disagree with the consensus arrangement. If you look at what happened, there was, for example, in the selection of women leader, that was an election. So it's not everything is not about consensus.
And I must thank my guest studios for coming, studio guests rather, for coming on the program this morning. Mr. Johnson Alabi, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's been pretty short.
Yes, short. I know. We'll be back for probably another phase of the conversation. And Mr. Femi Moshiwa, thank you very much. And my appreciation also goes to Mr. Tolubabale for joining us virtually, and to everyone who called and everyone who dropped comments on our Facebook. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. We'll be back next week, Thursday. And please continue to like the video, watch, and share as well. My name is Olabisi Olani Oluwasegun. We'll be back next week on another edition. Good morning, and thank you for watching, for listening.